Hello, I'm Greg Fiedler with the Greater Flint Arts Council, and welcome to the very first production of our new television show, Where's Art? Today we have guests from the Flint Public Art Project that we'll be talking with. And first of all, we have the Executive Director of the Flint Public Art Project, Joe Schapani,
Hello?
and artists Kevin Burdick and Zach Curtis. So we're going to start out talking to Joe about the organization. And Joe, tell us a little bit about the Flint Public Art Project and their mission and how you see their fit with the arts scene in the local community.
Well, the Flint Public Art Project, one of the main goals of the project is to activate vacant spaces and underutilized spaces to help the community reimagine and help beautify what the space could be and beautify the area. So one of the things that we've been focusing on this last couple of years are the murals. So Flint has gone from water crisis, from light to water crisis to now coronavirus and everything else. And Flint has been in the spotlight of, you go anywhere around the world, people are like, oh, you're from Flint. How's the water? You're allowed to drink the water? This and that. It's like, well, how do we change that narrative? And so we came up with the idea after watching Netflix, the Flint Town, where they went through all the nice areas and they blurred out all the nice areas in the show. So it's like, well, how do we make people see the beauty? And we came up with by adding beauty where you wouldn't expect it to be, and having it out there. So since October of 2018, we put up 120 murals. We've gotten 15 done so far this year. We had a little late start, but yeah, it's going good.
Well, you're getting a lot of attention for your murals, though. Aren't you getting coverage from places like all over the country?
All over the world. I just did one with Inspiring City from the UK, talking about the Nomad Clan, which is a female collaborative street art duo that travels around the world and does murals. They're one of the big name mural artists out there. We actually, after talking with Nomad Clan, we actually have the most Nomad Clan pieces than any other city.
Oh, that's
we have
cool.
5 here in Flint.
Even more than their hometown?
Even more than their hometown.
Nice.
Their hometown only has 3.
Wow, that
Yep.
is way cool.
They consider this their
So
second
they
home.
consider this their second home.
Cool. Well, and people talking like this about that, about us to other places around the world, like where they're from,
Yeah,
can only improve our image, I think.
I think so too. I mean, a lot of we've had people from 24 different countries come here over the last couple of years, and a lot of those countries, there's a newspaper article in Argentina about the artists that came here. There was one in Spain about the artists that came here. There was one in Kenya. So there's been a lot of articles about Flint that involved the art in South Africa. And
Well, I heard that the artists that came from out of town were also impressed with the talent of the artists that we have here, and that some invitations have been given for artists here to join them in other parts of the world. Is that correct?
that is correct. Was supposed to happen this year, but coronavirus kind of took care of that for us.
It's
this year,
taking care of a lot of things, isn't it?
But there's some things in the plans for the next couple of years
Nice. That's really exciting.
to get these guys traveling.
So, tell us. It's my understanding that that on the website there are virtual tours of the murals that you've done.
Yeah, well, we've added an app to the murals, which is great timing because each mural is getting a plaque. 64 of them right now have plaques on them. 50 of the old ones, and 15 of the new ones over the next 2 months. The rest of them are going to be getting plaques on them also. Um, and I got getting the rest of the plaques today, but it turns it into an outdoor gallery. You take your phone, you download the app, you tap on the plaque, and it just gives you the information about the artist, about the building. You can go to this artist social media, and then we've got some other things planned that I think we'll tell you on your next show. With that app, because the guys with Pixel Sticks will be able to go into more detail with that.
Um, yeah, on our next show, we're talking about bringing the
The Pixel Stick.
professionals in from Pixel Sticks,
Yep.
who
So-
are going to
Go over some new things that are going to
put
happen
some
with
things
the app.
on the murals that you can
Yeah.
read with your phone and stuff.
But it's nice, the app part of it has actually been able to tell us who's been at the mural, or not who, but how many people have come to the murals and which murals. So it
Oh,
actually
that's
gives us data on
Really
public art
useful information.
that we never had before. And during the shutdown, why everything, the stay home, stay safe order that was going on, all the galleries were closed. So public art was the only way to experience
That
art.
was everybody's exposure to the arts, wasn't
And
it?
so, yeah, and so we actually put up the first 50 plaques just before that happened and started announcing it and getting out there. And during May, when people were starting to go out, we saw a spike in how many people were going to look at the murals and checking it out. So it was really, we had
That's exciting.
a couple of days where we had like 40 people.
So tell us how people get your app.
You can download it at the Apple Store or the Google Play Store.
What's it called?
Pixel Sticks.
Pixel Sticks
Yep.
app
Yep, Pixel Sticks.
at the Apple
With
Store.
an X. Pixel, Pixlstix.
Okay. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So we have a couple artists here today, and we'd like to give them a chance to talk to us some about their experience working on the murals. Let's
These are
start.
two of my local artists. Just to give you an introduction. Kevin Burdick, is one of my main guys here. He's my go-to for reference points and paint orders and everything in between. Zach is one of our local artists here that is up and coming and getting a lot of good things done, and
Trying to.
so
Absolutely.
they're part of our local crew. We've got about 10 local artists that are really tight in the crew that work together.
Well, let's start with Zach. And Zach, tell us a little bit about your background. What drew you to become a visual artist and a muralist in particular? Just give us a little bit of history.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess I've always been an artistic, creative person. And at a young age, my family really saw that, took note, and kind of fostered my creative ability, did a lot of things, and really put me in an environment for my abilities to grow. And I guess as the years got older, years got more and more, it just became apparent that big, large-scale projects it just made sense. Murals make sense. And it's actually pretty funny. The very first mural that I actually ever painted was my very first painting to begin with. I had a friend contact me asking me if I could paint a mural for him. And at that point, I had never painted, but I needed the money for rent or something like that. I totally lied. And I paint murals all the time, all the time. I did it last weekend, Yep, threw myself to the wolves, got there and figured things out and kind of jumped into it, and it's been nonstop ever since.
So what community was your first mural in?
It was in Oakland County. It was in Walled Lake, Michigan.
Okay.
But since then, I've really kind of started to focus more so on Pontiac and the surrounding cities there. A lot of potential there, a lot of empty walls begging to be painted.
And you've done some of the work on the Flint murals?
I have. I've contributed, I think, 3 walls to the Flint Public Art Project, and I have a handful of commission pieces in the Flint area that stem from that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
Do
a
you-
good point, bring up too. Some of the commissions that
Yeah,
come from it.
seems like every time you go out there to paint, it leads to new.
People see what you're doing and
They're very supportive. Flint is a very collaborative and supportive community. Every time I'm out there, they're always bringing me drinks or food or just conversations. Just a really cool community.
yeah, I think we're pretty amazing.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
stuck around.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and maybe some of the things you've been working on.
My background's similar. Started just when you're a little kid. I think it's important to have a family that sees art as a future. A lot of families don't get that. Which I was super lucky to have that. Started drawing when I was younger, and did the whole real job thing for a while, and that was terrible. And realized I had to paint, and kind of the same thing. You just dive into it, say you're going to do it, and learn through trial and error. And then slowly build up your portfolio until you can charge people enough to keep the lights on in your house, basically. No real magic other than tons of practice, YouTube. But, and that's what Flint's always been a big part. I went to school in Flint. Getting connected with Joe and the Flint Art Project's been awesome. Just opened tons of doors to travel, meeting new artists. Needing commissions like we talked about.
What are some of the projects you're working on right now?
Right now, I just finished one down in Milford that was an actual, my normal life gig doing a commission piece. Last week I finished one on the Great Escape Games. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Yeah, over by Totem on Court and by the White Horse. It's kind of more of a.
Is that Ann Arbor Street?
Yeah. Coordinator Arbor.
Is it one of the more whimsical, fun piece of birds and fantasy life stuff? But that's what I love about doing the stuff with the Flint Art Project. We get complete freedom to kind of do what our inner voices are saying, in a weird way. Like we get to express our
Except
own
for when I nag
artistic.
you on commission pieces.
Yeah, well, Joe does. Yeah, I do those too. But the one last week was great, just being able to do it. And that's what draws a lot of these artists here. There's no.
You don't get that much.
Yeah, a lot of time we're being corralled into a specific design, color scheme, whatnot. And with the Flint Art Project, we get to do whatever our heart desires and really express. And that's how you get the best product a lot of time out of artists. Because we're trying to show off to the other artists and, I don't know, just build our, our chops up.
The fun part about that is to try. So when I get a building owner that says they want a mural, and they tell me kind of what they want, and I'm like, be general. General as possible, the easier it's going to be to get you a mural. And they'll tell me an idea or what they want, and I try to match them up with the artist. And so both people get what they want, because this is what I like to do, and this
Joe
is
gets
what
the
I
hard
want.
part, having to deal, with the people. But everybody's been awesome. They're kind of getting these murals, that are, upwards of many thousands of dollars normally, and
Well,
city's
we all
getting peppered with them. It's awesome.
we all participate in the creative process daily, but most people don't realize that they're making creative decisions all day long, and so they don't understand that producing a work of art is a series of creative decisions by the artist.
Yeah, it's a process for sure.
And
as soon as there's a
that you don't
Hold
necessarily
on.
want to illustrate somebody else's vision. You want to take an idea and make it your own.
it is tough, but that's also part of being an artist. Is you gotta be able to adapt to the situation.
Make sure the customer's happy.
Yeah, exactly. On the the professional side of it, which Zach has been getting into lately too, which is awesome to see him up and coming, doing commission pieces and stuff, and actually pulling it off and not freaking out and giving up. I actually had him. We just did one together out in Lansing, all due to the Flint Art Project, where I would have never met him, and we were able to collaborate on a huge wall out in Lansing.
Oh, nice.
Pretty cool. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago.
So, what do you have coming up soon?
Oh, we've
In
got
the next few weeks.
Well, we've got our women's series coming up. So we have, I think, 3 women coming up. Uh, 2 coming up and one of our local women. Crystal Cook will be doing some.
And they have some locations identified?
Yes, but I'm not allowed to give those out till after the mural.
Okay.
Top
Um, they've asked me
What if I want to bring water or candy bars or something?
they, if I have people coming in from out of town.
You bring them
I'm not going to get it out of him, am I?
Well,
No.
a lot of people asked me about that last time
Yeah.
when I posted a teaser picture, and it makes sense because it's the coronavirus situation, and they don't want a lot, like a crowd gathering.
Oh, I see.
And we
Okay.
get a lot
So
of,
they're-
we
Yeah,
do
so
get a lot of people.
It's
Trying to keep the
protect
separation
artist
there.
Too, yeah, just in
Well, it's to
case.
protect the community and the artist. If I have an artist
Yeah.
coming in from out of town, I don't want a lot of people coming up to that wall and working with that artist. I mean, I've had situations where you have 15, 20 people there grilling out, hanging out with the artist, spending the whole day there.
Which is awesome.
Which is,
But
which
right
is
now,
great,
yeah,
you know,
it's a
they're-
bummer,
yeah.
but you know, we got to take some safety precautions also. I mean, the artist is wearing a mask when they're painting, so.
Oh, yeah,
Well, that kind of brings us around to my last topic. Was I thought maybe we'd chat a little bit about how this whole Corona pandemic has affected you all as artists and as administrators of arts agencies.
Yeah, well, so I mean, I guess the tell of a good artist is to be able to roll and work with mistakes that you might make to the point where it doesn't even look like a mistake. I guess for a business standpoint, it's almost the same attitude as being able to adapt and pivot towards the times, and really just being summer right now and being able to focus on only outside walls, distancing ourselves from everyone while being able to do what we want to do and what we're good at.
Well, part of it is making a sale.
Yeah,
And-
there's always that.
And are people open to talking to you and meeting with you?
Yeah, generally we meet them at the wall outside, or via some sort of internet chat, Zoom or FaceTime or
Yeah,
something like
nowadays everything's all.
that. Yeah, so
through
there's different ways around
Messenger,
it. There's no more coffee shop meetings right now, obviously, but we're resilient. We make things work, and it's all for the benefit of the community anyway. So there's different ways.
One
we
of
can
the
do it.
nice things, like I was going to say with Kevin, is a lot of the restaurants and stuff that have always wanted indoor murals in their restaurant,
I know he's done quite a few.
but didn't want to close down
I
to
know.
do it.
Unfortunately, obviously, the
But
whole
when they were
situation's
closed-
terrible. But I was able to go and do. Yeah, I did about 3 or 4 different jobs
The
in a couple
Detroit
months.
Taco Company was
yeah,
really
that's
good.
right.
You did.
So
There was nobody there. And
So you
I
actually
wasn't
got the
around
work because it was more convenient.
Exactly, and I wasn't around anybody. It was better for them. They're not breathing in my paint fumes.
Well, you might be one of the few people that actually benefited from
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
from businesses closing.
Yeah, not much has changed business-wise or artistic-wise.
Yeah,
But, lifestyle definitely, obviously, but it's still.
But we're used to wearing masks.
Yeah,
And we
keep it
always
moving.
have a high-end mask on, so it doesn't really bother me.
To protect from the
Yeah, the paint fumes.
toxicity of the paint.
Yeah, the aerosol paints that we use. I guess we should shout out to Cobra Paint on this. They've been hooking
yeah,
us up
Silver
Yeah.
Paint.
from a company out of Italy, and the paints are, the aerosol toxic. Very fine mist. It's not good to breathe, so we always have really high-end masks on. That's why most of these murals are outdoors. But, I guess more on the paint is that the durability of them. People always
Yeah.
ask me that.
Yeah,
Are these gonna last and stuff? And
Well, that's why you get a lot of people ask, well, should we put a seal coat over this? Should I put that? It's like, no, it's already built into it. And if you put a seal coat on over the Cobra paint, it's actually going to change the color of the paint. Because it's already got UV protectant and seal coat already built into it to make it last longer.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and I've heard
So-
clear coats paints flex, with heat and cold, and it can crack and you get cracks. And the aerosols are better just to be left.
And people don't realize, so it's like, they think it's the same as like the $3 can that you go to
Yeah.
Walmart and buy.
Yeah, no.
Like, these are $10 cans of paint.
Yeah.
It's like they're not cheap, and this organization has been really taking good care of us.
So
Cobra Paint giving
What
us,
do you expect the lifespan to be of a mural generally?
depending on the sun.
I mean, for Michigan.
Yeah, it does. It depends on how brutal the sun is. If
The
it's a
prep.
direct south facing, I mean, within probably 15 years, you'll see some color fading. Like the reds are going to turn a little more pink, blacks might turn a little more gray. But if it's only getting half the sun, I mean, 25 years easy. It's long enough that you're not really going to even notice.
Especially if you
It's,
prep it good.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the nice thing
It's
is they will
about how
fade
good the walls
evenly.
are.
Where
Yeah,
like some of
exactly.
the other ones some of the other products like 50 years ago, where they don't fade even. So these would actually fade even, so you can't, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Now, I've
It's come
heard,
a long way.
I've talked to some artists lately that had talked to me about a new philosophy that about not restoring murals that they were made with the idea of being temporary.
Yeah, in a long.
Even though
term.
20 years is
It's
doesn't
still-
seem like it's temporary, but
Yeah, in the
letting them go at the end of 20 years when they start to
in the
deteriorate.
grand scheme of things, it is. It's just a blip in the tiny.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about that? Do you think somebody should come in and
I just-
restore it, or do you think you should let it go or do
No,
something new?
because I've done that on the big crane that I did downtown next to Capitol Theater. There was the stamp, and it was done by an artist. I think originally in like the 80s.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
it was-
LeVarn Ross did the stamp.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Should
somebody
say L.
touched
Russ.
it up in the 90s, I want to say. And the building owners, I'm not going to say who, but they were like just paint over it. They didn't care. But I have like crazy respect for it just because it's been around forever. One of the first murals in Flint. It's like saying paint over the burners. But so I left it, and everybody asked me like, "What the heck is up with? Why is there a stamp right in the middle of your mural?" And I was like, "I just really wanted to leave it. It's better to look a little odd and old like that, like it deteriorating, and out of respect to the artist."
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
it didn't bother me because I knew the history about it,
Yeah,
and so I had respect for the fact that you left LeVarn's
yeah.
mural there.
Well, there was the one on Soggy Bottom that was falling apart.
Oh yeah.
They fixed the wall, and so most of the mural was patched up from where it was. So that old Carriage Town mural was pretty much wasn't replaceable. Wasn't fixable, so we did paint over that. So it's a process of evaluating the mural,
Sure.
evaluating the historic content to it, and a cost factor.
So the postage stamp was there, and, because of the Arts Council.
Oh really? Okay, cool.
That corner.
Well, then now you're definitely.
That corner
put it in
studio
anyway.
where the Eberson is
Yeah.
was the Greater Flint Arts Council,
Oh, all right.
and
So, yeah, it's right across the.
when
alley
I
from
came
it.
to work
Fresh
for
out.
them in 1993, that's where our studio was.
Yeah.
We were working out of 1,600 square feet there on the corner,
Oh wow.
and the only thing wonderful about it was the windows were huge,
Yeah.
and that was
Great
really cool. But other than that, it was just way too small for what we were doing and the programming that we were trying to do. But the Verner's mural catapulted us into
Yeah, that was a big deal.
into a new home, which is
That's kind of
a huge story
that's
all
the
into
OG
itself.
mural in Flint. Like, is there any info on that one? Like,
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that mural is historic, so it has to, everybody feels like it really has to be restored when it deteriorates.
yeah, that one is a.
And the Arts Council has raised the money to restore it twice. It was originally painted in 1932. We restored it in, I believe, 81.
Yeah, somewhere in the 80s.
Pretty sure it was 81, and then we restored it again in 2001 as a Millennium Project.
Cool. Yeah, that's as a mural artist, I love seeing the generations before us and how
Now,
they did it.
that mural was there originally as
generations
more of an
before.
advertisement
And yeah,
than a work of art. The Halo Burger was an original Verner's soda fountain store,
oh, that's so cool.
and the space between Halo Burger and the Arts Council used to be a courtyard, an outdoor courtyard where people would eat and have
Hang out. Yeah.
whatever beverages Verner's was providing, and Boston coolers and all that kind of stuff.
Really cool.
and they approach the owners of the building. Can I don't know what the business agreement was,
yeah.
but they let them put that mural on the side of the building to enhance the courtyard.
That's cool history.
I remember the first time coming to paint for the Flint Public Art Project, stopping off at Halo Burgers for the first time and sitting there like, oh my gosh, I wish this was out where I live. I need Halo Burger all the time.
Yeah.
And just
Yes.
staring at this giant mural and like looking at all the details. And
Well,
just in
Halo
awe.
Burger sponsored the food last year.
Yeah, they gave us all those
They gave
coupons.
us, I don't know, quite a few,
oh, so
couple
many.
hundred, I think two or 300 of these little coupons for a free meal.
Oh, cool.
And so when the artists came, I'd give them each of 3 or 4 different coupons, and they go to Halo Burger and get a meal, and
Yeah, I got a hold of a few of those myself.
yeah.
I think they got a little upset with it after a while. They didn't realize how many artists were actually going to come to town.
Yeah. Well, no, they kept. She's like, "Oh, are you know," because they stopped coming. She's like, "Are you out?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, let me get some more printed for you because you got more artists coming." I'm like, "Oh yeah." The artists loved it. So
Nice.
yeah, we actually took one of the artists that was here and had his first Boston cooler the other day, or a couple weeks ago.
Speaking of that, like all the artists that have come through town, I mean, they love Flint and the
And they've
people
all
and the
been
freedom
amazing.
of it. Just,
We've had it's always weird because the visiting artists stay at my house. Okay, so sometimes when I go pick them up, I don't know what they look like. I don't know whether it's a male or female, white, black, yellow. I have no idea who's coming to my house, and I pick up a complete stranger to spend a week in my house with me.
You don't know what their rap sheet looks like?
I have
or-
no idea. all they're judged on is their work. And
it's been
I've
nothing but
had-
good. Eh?
I've had so many. I mean, I've not had one artist that I didn't enjoy having in my house.
Nice.
They've all been amazing. I mean, the extended Flint family is amazing, and all the artists that we've had. Last year we had different cookouts. We had
The good
dinners
times.
at the house
Yeah.
and all kinds of stuff for it. I mean,
Yeah, that's one of the best things about the whole art project for me is meeting the other artists that are coming into town that I wouldn't normally get to meet.
So beneficial.
Going and then keeping in contact with them and them talking about, hey, you got to come out to our spot, in the future.
Well, yeah, generally being an artist is a very singular activity, and
It is.
and you kind of go off into your own world. So
The public
having
art scene is
avenues to
awesome.
connect with other folks is probably
Yeah,
pretty special.
Doing collaborations and painting with other artists.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
been real
He had
cool.
mentioned before, because of the Flint Public Art Project, we had kind of linked up and we did the wall together. And from him alone, I've learned so much. And then all the other artists that came to town past year, it's just expanded my world and my skills have benefited greatly for it.
I'm especially appreciative of the murals that were done downtown. I've done a lot of work personally on bringing downtown back,
Oh,
and some of those murals have just totally changed spaces that were, we'll say, not pleasing to the
Yeah.
eye.
yeah. And I mean, the murals
Yeah,
are just a
that's
little
the
part
key.
of what's happening in Flint. It is. Like, downtown's awesome. Anybody watching this that isn't part or hasn't been there recently that still has that hint in the back of their head of like, oh, that's kind of sketchy in Flint. Like, it really isn't. It's popping.
Yeah,
Downtown's buzzing, obviously, right now.
yeah, we're not the
the
downtown of 20 years ago.
Yep, it is.
We're 20 years into this renewing ourselves, and
Great
other than
restaurant.
the COVID thing shutting a lot of things down,
Yeah, it's slowing down, but it'll be back good.
it's we've got just an incredible
Definitely
program
come
going
down to
on
Flint,
there.
Check it out. Art, food,
yes.
murals.
Well, I want to thank my guests today. We're going to wrap up this segment of Where's Art, and we've really been enjoying our conversations with artists Zach Curtis and Kevin Burdick, and Joe Schapani as the executive director of the Flint Public Art Project. Thank you so much for coming out today and sharing this time with us, and informing the public of where art is. Where's art?